This is an after-school program podcast.
What key are we in, G?
Yeah. For continuity, we just wrapped a podcast. Shama doesn't want to wear the same thing he was wearing in the other podcast. He's now wearing a blue shirt.
Wow. Do you want me to change? I just
Switched it out.
Hey, if you'd like to.
No, not at all. We are back. And I'm uncuffing my pants to make the last podcast look different from this one.
Yeah, wait a second. So you're telling me you think someone is going to look at this episode and be like, wait a second. His pants were also cuffed in that last episode. This is the same day.
This is these bums.
Yeah, I bet they didn't even try.
Creators.
I bet he just dyed the same shirt blue.
Man. Okay. Hey, guys. First of all, my name is Shama, and I got a dumb phone because I'm addicted to my smartphone. That's something about me. I got the light phone, too, because I scroll too much. PD?
My name is PD, and I am now Shama's social media manager.
Oh.
That is right. Oh, and the same password is the same one for Twitter, just in case you want to tweet something on my behalf. That is where I'm at in life. And
People are going to be like, what are all these PD appreciation posts?
Oh, yeah. It's just that you've realized how much you neglected him.
PD's going to turn my Twitter into a PD fan account. Oh, man. Do we want to give Jonathan the golden treatment?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Wow.
Guys, ladies and gentlemen, today on the show,
The most prolific guest in Church Stories history. His sixth time on the show.
finally, we've got him down again one more time. Not down physically, but he is at his home in North Carolina. I mean, Virginia. We keep on saying North Carolina.
No,
We are
North Carolina's
friends who
correct. You got it.
Oh, we almost exclusively hang out on podcasts.
That is and via text to talk about other podcasts. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Was that a LaCroix?
Jonathan Wright.
It's me. I'm back. Number 7 or 6?
back, man.
Is this 6?
Six, yeah.
Number 6, yeah.
I
Wait
feel,
a second.
What?
He's number 1 right now.
He's been number 1.
He's been number 1. Yeah.
I did it. I feel like I'm in this like endless battle with your father, PD, where it's just like I don't even know the man, but I'm just like, Mr. Bachman, I will win this, you know.
Wait, let's use that for the out of context quote of the week.
Mr. Bachman,
man.
this will be mine. The title is mine.
Yeah, I got really bummed out because I was thinking, hey, for the Churchy Awards this year, let's get Jonathan down here. Let's do a live show. I was like, darn you, COVID.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we tried. I mean, you tried. I didn't really try all that much.
Yeah,
I didn't know that was the plan.
My idea is let's get a bunch of people. Let's come up with the nominees. Then the audience votes.
Right.
Yeah. I told Jonathan that we after school program we'll bring him and his wife down. They could stay in a hotel or something and
Sounds
give
amazing.
them a little bit of cash to eat some. I don't know, what is Greenville known for? Biscuits, biscuits, fish and chips. I don't know. What do people
That's
eat downtown?
the first thing I think of when you were like, "What do you think of about Greenville?" I was like, "Biscuits, I guess."
I think of biscuits. We do have a great place called Biscuit Head, though. That's what I think is what I thought of. Yeah, we got to go to Biscuit Head.
Wait, you've got Biscuit Head. What is?
Yeah.
I'm hoping that their little like character is a person with a biscuit head. Am I wrong, or is that correct?
So you're not wrong in thinking that, because that is the kind of branding and marketing that you would expect from South Carolina.
Yeah.
But this company is actually from Asheville, North Carolina, so it's hipsters. So there's more. It's more cat themed. The biscuit heads, they have like. They're the size of a cat's head. Like, that's what their biscuits are gigantic.
Well, that's what I always want to be thinking about when I'm eating a biscuit is I'm like, this is the same size as my cat's head. I want this.
Yeah, I always measure my food in cat heads.
Oh yeah. I had a really delightful burger, about half a cat head. You can believe that? It was really good.
Would you like the full cat head size burger or the half cat head? We're like, I'll take the half cat head.
Can I do the quarter pounder? Half cat.
Quarter pounder
man.
cat head, please.
Jonathan, how are you doing?
Dude, I'm doing good, man. I'm living life up here in North Carolina. You got it correct. I'll explain it. I live in North Carolina, but I work and do everything in life in Virginia. You know?
Okay.
That's because Virginia is like 5 minutes from me. Like, no lie.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, that's why we were confused on the last part. We're like, is it North Carolina or is it Virginia or is it?
I feel like you said both.
I'm just like, yes, it's both. I don't know what to tell you. It's just both of them, okay?
And you, first of all, congratulations are in order. You and your wife just bought a house.
We did, man. I can't believe it, but also I can because, paying for it and stuff. But it's so much better for us right now. Like, it's not too big, it's not like too tiny. I've got better internet, and that was really the only thing that I needed. I was like, look, does it have better internet? She's like, yeah. And I was like, let's buy it.
Like, I could buy a new router or I could buy a house.
I was like, let's go the full send and just get the whole house, okay?
Yeah.
So that's where I'm sitting right now. Yeah.
Hey, that's awesome, man. Well, that's really cool. We're super excited for you guys. We love seeing our friends win. So
thank you, sir.
A win. Welcome back to the Love Seeing Our Friends Win podcast, where we just invite.
That sounds like hosted by Sadie Robertson.
Yeah,
that sounds like a real thing.
I just love seeing my friends win.
That is so. That is so like. What is it? What is the term? Conservative Christian girl. You know what I mean? Like, you already know the font. You already know the font
It's
for that podcast,
script
Jonathan.
font. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that
On the
real
show this week, my
stuff.
friend Katie.
And my friend Katie won by getting engaged. And then it's just,
No, you stop.
why
No,
we have
you
God.
stop it.
the whole episode is no, you stop it. No, you stop it.
You are so crazy. I can't believe how crazy you are. Yeah. I feel like that would be like if I was getting interrogated and they were like, we can't get anything out of him, but we've got this final thing that we think might do it.
We got it.
They just like put noise canceling headphones on me and then they start playing a podcast like that. I'll be like, I'll tell you everything, even if I didn't do it. I will confess to it right now if you make it stop.
Yeah.
Oh my word.
Wait, Sadie Robertson's real podcast is Hey, That's Good, right?
What?
Which is, hey, it's in line with everything that we just said. Her podcast is called Hey, That's Good.
Is that just I haven't listened to it, but I imagine that it's just she says that every 5 minutes. They're just like, hey, by the way, like we want you to know how much Jesus loves you. She's like, hey, that's good.
Yeah. And then it also is in line. That's one of those all in one, like a catch-all for when she wants to talk about if she wants to promote a brand, like a sponsorship.
Right.
You're like, hey girls, you want to know what's real good? L'Oreal's new dry shit. And you're like, what the heck? Did you just what?
She's like, cat head biscuits. They're so good. That's the sponsor this week is cat head biscuits.
Girls, what?
Hey, that's
You
good.
need to take that notification off of
let me
above.
tell you that.
There's a notification above your head that's just been hovering.
Oh, nice. I do feel like this is now the future we live in. Is like a notification popping up on my forehead. Somewhere there's like a really angry dispensationalist who thinks that that's like the mark of the beast. You're like,
they did it. They got
the
it.
Facebook notification on his forehead.
When did we last talk to you, Jonathan? Was that March or April? When was it?
It was something like that. It was when we did the wild crossover episode.
Oh man, dude.
Yeah.
That intro still, man. It's like
Somebody commented. What did they comment?
I sent you the text from my dad. who was like, I thought I started another podcast accidentally at the same time, and I was trying to figure out what happened. And he's like, and then I realized what y'all were doing.
That's my revenge on PD's dad for trying to get my record.
Now we need to have my dad and you on at the same time.
Oh, dude. Look, I haven't laughed as hard as I did when he was telling the story about the love letter. I will say that. Like, the moment I heard that, I just started like crying, laughing, just because I love these uncomfortable like stories. Yeah. And so as soon as I heard that he's just like, no, I didn't write her back, I just lost it.
Dude, that was the cherry on top, because it's like yeah, we got this love letter in like the 80s, and I'm like, oh, so you respond? He's like, no, I didn't respond. I'm like, what the heck?
The funniest thing about the whole thing is that he still has it.
Yeah,
I love that. I was just like, so he loves this story so much, and he loves that this happened so much that he's like, I can never throw this away. Like, have they moved since then? I'm assuming like he had to keep up with that letter through a move.
Yeah.
And after moving, I'm like, I don't know how many things I lost during this move, but he really had to hold on to that letter.
Oh man,
it's amazing,
man, dude.
He loses his keys all the time, but he's never lost that letter.
This little anecdote for a conversation and or podcast in the future.
It's like, I gotta save this for my boys. You know.
Hey, love you, Mr. Scott. He watches these.
I one time put a. It wasn't really a love letter, but I put a letter in the wrong girl's mailbox one time. I will say that. Like,
wait a second. You wait a second. You put it in the mailbox? You didn't like mail it off?
Well, okay. Let me explain. I said it, and I realized that didn't make any sense without a context. This is when I was working at a camp, and this was when Kristen and I had like started dating. But you know, at camps they're like, you can't talk to any girls because it's going to be a distraction. You know, and so. We had started dating, and so during the week we had like these mailboxes that were like little cubes basically, and so we would put like letters in. And so one time I like wrote her this letter about how much I liked her, and just like really sappy, but I realized I never like put her name on it anywhere. And so like I put it in what I thought was her mailbox, but I put it in the one below it, which was another girl named Meredith. And so Meredith like walks up to me and she's just like, hey, so I got this letter, and is this really for me? Which was also passive for her, being like, I don't want this to be for me. But I was like, no, that's not for you. That was for Kristen.
Oh, no.
So it was a real awkward experience.
But that's got to be super embarrassing for you. So, because you didn't want this girl knowing how you felt about Kristen like that, probably.
It was just like all of a sudden now this girl is like, I have more insight into this relationship than I really wanted or needed. So, and you know what?
You you are the reason I breathe. And wait, what? Wait a second. Wait a second. Hold on.
He's like, whoa, Jonathan's never talked to me. Like, well, this is 180.
Yeah, he's talked to me a full like 2 times in the past summer, and suddenly he's like, I like you so much that I don't stop thinking about you. You know, like.
Oh man.
I wasn't planning on telling that story. That's just what happens. I was thinking about letters, and that's my letter story. I'm interested
in love letters that never made it to the intended person. Like if you've ever intercepted a love letter. Now I'm like, what else does that look like?
Do you have a letter story?
Do I? Oh, I think I told it on the show where somebody sent me fan mail a couple months ago. Did I say that already? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I was so excited, and they were like, "Oh, I'm like," they were from like Washington State, and they were like, "My siblings, we love the homeschooling anthem. Like, we love everything you do. We love keeping up with your channel." And then I'm reading it at home, right? I'm reading it, and I'm like, "Oh, wow!" I was like, "Grace, look at this. I'm gonna write her back. I'm gonna write her and her brother back. They said they want my autograph. I'm gonna write them back." And then Grace immediately afterward, like, I finished reading the letter. She's like, "How did they get our address?" And I went, because I didn't know. I was so excited that I was like, wait, how did they get our address?
Whoa. They're just like digging through phone books. Yeah. Man. They actually messaged me. They were like, do you know him?
What is his address specifically?
Yeah. I was like, that's not a problem. I give it out all the time.
My letter story is that I was probably like, I don't know, 7 or 8, and I was on a playground. You know how like when you're a kid, you go to a playground, you just become friends with all the kids and then never see them again.
Y'all are running like this. Yeah.
Like a
so
pool, like a public pool. You kind of
one of the kids is like, "Hey, let's be pen pals," and I was like,
oh.
"What's that?" And he was like, "We write letters." I was like, "All right, let's do it." And then we go to our moms, and then I get the address from the kid in the car. My mom's like, "You're not doing this." She's like, "You don't care about this. You don't care about whoever that kid is. You're never gonna see them again."
I love that.
I will
say,
my brothers and I, we all went to this like public pool in Danville, and there were a couple of people like that where I was like, I'm never gonna see these people again. And one of those people I ended up working with for 2.5 years, like way down the road. And then he and I actually became friends. So Chris, I'm sorry I thought I wasn't going to be your friend earlier, but now we are. It's okay.
That's like the end of the segue into our story. I've heard you got a great camp story, Jonathan.
Oh,
but that's like the end of camp. You know, when people are like crying and emotional, and they're like, "Dude, give your number today, dude." I put like, we're gonna hop in a group chat. It was always a group chat.
I remember.
It's like, I'm gonna be your accountability partner.
Yeah, encourage each other, dude.
Do you remember the Facebook thing? Is that what you're referring to?
Was it?
Post camp? There was like a Facebook group.
Oh yeah, there was like a post camp Facebook group where like everybody, dude. And I remember, like I've been in and out of conferences and camps since I was like 10. So I've made the friends, and you hang out all week, and then when it's over, you just gotta like bounce. You just gotta be like, "Hey man, dude, great hanging with you, dude. Maybe I'll see you later. Maybe I'll see you never. Bye."
Right.
Let's not try to like, you know, like let's not try to like freaking keep this going. Bye. We got like, dude, we're gonna let's just text each other prayer requests in the morning.
Ooh,
no,
yeah.
I love you, but no,
we're just some ships passing in the night, man.
Yeah.
Ships passing in the night. What a beautiful phrase for that. It's just like we're just two ships.
I pulled that from somewhere, maybe. I don't know.
I don't even know. PD waxed poetic. Did I use that right?
Yeah, you. I don't know. Maybe like let's say yes. I'm gonna pretend you made that phrase up.
Waxed poetic. Yeah, Jonathan, we got to hear your camp story though.
Oh man, so like I had totally forgotten about this story, and I really don't know how I had forgotten about it, and then suddenly I remembered it, and it was this week, and it was after you guys asked me to be on, and I was like, I'm so glad I remembered this for this because I need to document it. So I was a camp counselor. This was actually the same summer that was my poop story issue from that episode. So this was a very eventful summer. I remember it was a Sunday, and we were getting our assignments for like, okay, here are your campers. Here's who they're going to be, any like medical conditions and everything like that. And I had a pretty easy summer so far. Well, I get my assignment, and they're like, hey, all right, so you have 7 campers in high school, and 4 of them have like diagnosed ADHD. And then they were like, you also have a guy who has schizophrenia and is bipolar as well. And I was like, all right, let's do this thing. Like, this is going to be a good week. So with schizophrenia, a lot of times it's like hallucinations and everything like that. And so I really wasn't experienced at all with how to deal with that or what to do to help. And so,
did you know anything going in?
As far as did I know, I didn't know anything going in. I knew like what it was, and so I was kind of like emotionally prepared for like, okay, here we go. This is probably going to be a tough one, but I don't know how it's going to go. And they also were like, hey, this kid, he hasn't gone to camp before. Like they really want him to stay the whole week, but if he ends up having like too tough of a time, like just let us know. But for me, I was like having this weird like hero complex where I was like, I will be the one to keep him here a full week. He will have a good time.
Hold on, I gotta ask, what year was this?
Oh, dude, this was 2015, 2014, something like that.
Because I feel like the camps have pretty strict rules, right? Where they're like, the last time I was there, like 3 or 4 years ago, they're like, you can't use the same shower as a student, don't no phones out,
right?
All these things that But why did they trust you with a kid with schizophrenia? That they were like, hey, you got this.
I don't
See
know.
ya at the end. You know what I mean?
They're like, have fun, you know. So
What? Yeah, I feel like there's like some steps that needed to happen before that to like properly prepare you.
I do agree with that highly. I will say I definitely have the same thought, especially now after being like a youth ministry leader. I'm just like, there's no way that I would just like throw a volunteer and be like, hey, this is the day before. Hope it goes well, And so, but it happened to me, so maybe I'm more sensitive to it. So here's what happens. He shows up, super nice kid, but right out of the gate, I knew like this is going to be a very interesting week because he straight up looks at me and he's like, I'm aware that I hallucinate. And he's like, and I see SlenderMan nonstop.
What?
Yeah, he was like, I see
Are you
SlenderMan.
serious?
He's like, that's the one that I hallucinate. And I was like, oh boy, I have to be in a cabin with this kid. If this kid's like yelling that he's seen SlenderMan and we're out here in the middle of the woods in the mountains, like I'm gonna freak out.
This sounds like this sounds like an M. Night Shyamalan movie.
It was. I lived it.
This kid like
This would be the greatest movie.
Was he sitting on the edge of the bed and he's like, I am aware that I hallucinate.
No.
Everywhere I go, I see SlenderMan.
He's like, hello,
this is
Jonathan,
the
and I'm
movie.
like,
He goes. The movie is, he says, these are not hallucinations.
that's right. He's like, these are very real. They're very
SlenderMan
real.
is behind you, Jonathan.
Okay, so that week it ended up. So Monday he tells me he sees SlenderMan, and then it ends up later that night. We're like in the middle of session, and I see him kind of like staring off like this. He was just like,
oh no.
And so I'm like sitting next to him, so I'm kind of like, "Hey, man!" Like I'll call him Brandon. That was actually his name. Sorry, but I was like, "Hey, Brandon." There's a lot of Brandons. Okay, I was like, "Hey, Brandon, I was like, you all right, man? Is everything okay?" And he's like, "No, I see him right now." And I was like, you do? And so it's like me looking up there just to verify that I too don't see SlenderMan. That would be even scarier. I look up there, he's actually there next to the guy speaking, and I'm like, this is a problem. But so I see it, or I don't see it. That was weird. I didn't see him.
We're about to take a turn.
I see him. I see him right now. He's standing next to me.
He takes me.
I'm like, hey, Brandon, like, this isn't like real, man. Like, and he's like, I know. It's just freaking me out, man. And I'm like, okay, all right. So I take him out. We like sit down, and he's like, I'm winding down. Everything's fine. I was like, okay, cool. So the next day we go and we're hiking. We're in the woods, which is not what you want for a kid who like sees SlenderMan and like associates the woods with like the game and everything. So it's like the whole time he's like looking at trees and like saying, I think I see markings right here on the tree. And I'm like, I don't see anything, Brandon. Like I don't see it.
Dude.
And he's like, this is it. This is him. He's here. And I'm like, he's not here, man. Like I'm telling you, SlenderMan's not here. Like everything's fine. The hike was really rough because I had to like convince him that we were fine, and then I like took him back down because I just wanted him to feel better. But the whole time I'm like, Brandon will have a good week of camp. He will stay for the whole week. And I'm like keeping up with like the people in leadership there. I'm like, hey, these are the things that are happening. And they're like, okay, well, you seem like you got a pretty good handle on it. And I was like, if you say so.
I love how they just threw you to the wolves on this. Like, hey, Jonathan, you have no experience in this, but deal with a schizophrenic kid all week.
I'm so scared right now. But it ended up that later that night, we would do like these contests where you memorize Bible verses and stuff. And I'm like sitting there with my notebook, and we're sitting out on the porch, and all of a sudden, Brandon, he's sitting across from me, and he all of a sudden kind of like stares past me and is like looking next to me. And I just kind of like lean forward. I'm like, Brandon, do you see SlenderMan right now? And he's like, yeah, man, he's like standing right next to you. And I was like, right here?
What?
He's like, right here? And he's like, yeah. So I like take my pen, and I'm like, I'm going to try to like make this kid laugh. So I like take my pen. I'll use this flash drive as a pen. And I like do this. I'm like, look, dude, I'm like scribbling all over him. Whatever. I'm not trained for this. So this is my solution. Yeah. So I'm scribbling. I'm like, look, dude, I'm like drawing all over SlenderMan. And he looks at me. He's like, You're drawing on his crotch, dude. I was like,
Please be respectful of SlenderMan's space.
Oh, because SlenderMan is tall.
And then at that point, you're like, do I apologize to SlenderMan? Who's not really like, I'm so sorry, I didn't realize. But it's, instead, Brandon was like, he started laughing. He thought it was hilarious. I was like, well, the things I do for my campers, I draw on SlenderMan's crotch by accident. So, yeah.
Another out of context quote.
Well, just when you think that the story is over, I was like, all right, I found a way to make this kid laugh about SlenderMan. So it ends up that Thursday, so they leave Friday night. So Thursday, it's happening. I'm like, we've only got one day to go. Thursday morning, we wake up. I walk into the cabin, and Brandon's freaking out. He's like, look, he's right there. He's right behind you. He's right behind you in the bathroom. And I was like, SlenderMan? And he's like, yes. And he's really having a terrible experience at this point. And so then he looks at me. He's like, do something. You've got to fight him. And I was like, this kid just asked me to fight SlenderMan in my cabin right now. So I proceed.
And you have to do it, don't you?
Yes. So I proceed to turn around in this bathroom and just throw air punches. I'm just going crazy, just screaming and fighting SlenderMan. And I kind of glance over my shoulder, and Brandon is sitting on his bed, and he's just like, yes, this is amazing. And so I do a finisher punch. I don't even know what I did. It was just very in the moment. Like I said, I was not qualified for this. So I do a finisher punch, and he looks at me. He's like, he's gone. And I was like, what do you mean he's gone? And he's like, I don't see him. I was like, oh. And he didn't see him the rest of the week. He didn't.
You punched SlenderMan so hard.
Destroyed SlenderMan.
Well, he ended up. He was just Friday. We wake up. I'm like, hey, you doing okay? He's like, dude, I haven't seen him since. And I was like, did I really punch SlenderMan?
I feel like either from anybody with a PhD standpoint, that was either the correct thing to do
or the worst.
Or you never engage with somebody else's hallucinations.
I know. You fought his hallucination.
You
fought a schizophrenic kid's hallucination.
and you won. You also won.
Well, it ended up the rest of the summer they were calling me the Monster Slayer, which is I love the nickname. I was like, that's fine, I'll take it. Yeah. But in reality, I was like, look, I just fought nobody in a bathroom. It's really not that amazing. I just was punching the air. But yeah, the kid didn't see him anymore Thursday or Friday, and left and had a good rest of the week. And I was like, all right, well, I don't know what to think about this, but I guess it worked. And now, my wife now is a therapist, and so I know more about this and what to do and what not to do, thankfully. And I look at that and I'm like, I don't think I should have done that. I should have probably just sent him home. And I'm like, I really think I did the wrong thing here. So
you mean you shouldn't have fought SlenderMan?
I don't think so, because I think if you look at it, you're trying to help a person cope with something that's not there. And so for me to interact with it and be like, I'm going to affirm the fact that this is a very real thing and I'm going to fight him is I don't know if that's healthy or not.
The complete opposite.
Yeah, exactly.
What?
Oh, no. I'm sorry, Brandon. If you're listening to this, I'm sorry I fought your hallucinations. I don't think he's listening
Brandon's
to this.
somewhere he's like, I've never seen SlenderMan since that day.
This is a weird synchronicity. Because I just listened to a podcast. It was a deep dive on SlenderMan.
Really?
And it said that if you're an adult and you saw it start popping up on the forums, it's easy to tell that it's fake. But kids who grew up with that myth legitimately think that SlenderMan is real.
Wait a second. Who started it?
I think it's 4chan.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It is always 4chan.
It was a Tumblr, right? It was a Tumblr
I don't know.
picture, right? Somebody put up a picture of a drawing in the woods.
Oh
right?
yeah, and somebody, it was these. It just came from drawings, and there's that video game that was super viral.
Yeah, with the one scene of
yeah.
Dude, I still remember playing that video game and it freaking me out. I was like, I can't do this. Like, and I was pretty old by that point too. So it's like probably shouldn't have scared me, but it did. It still scared me.
Is it the thought of what is the scary part about SlenderMan? Is it the fact that he's just a tall, skinny,
A tall
white skinny?
It's like
Yeah.
they're like he's like a water polo player. That's what's terrifying about him.
Yeah,
It's like,
He's
you may
super
not
tall
like
and
it,
white.
but this is what peak performance looks like.
It's like Michael Phelps. I didn't know.
The trainers hate him.
Click this link to see why. You know, it's
Yeah, I mean, but like before that came out, being called a slender man is a good thing.
yeah. It's like I have no experience in being called a slender man. I will say.
Yeah.
The aha water is working me that way.
SlenderMan really he took all the clout that skinny people had.
Yeah.
Once had. I don't know. Is it? I don't know. I'm just assuming. Oh man, that's funny. Gosh, that is so funny.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, so wait a sec. So the podcast was explaining like millennials, like what is it, Gen Zers?
Yeah.
Don't like they believe that SlenderMan is.
Yeah, there's a certain amount of kids probably. I mean, if they were kids at the time, they grew up thinking that SlenderMan was real.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
I feel like we might get an email where somebody's like, I heard you guys trashing SlenderMan.
I heard y'all spreading misinformation about SlenderMan being fake.
I like this podcast when it was primarily based on church stories.
You look at
You
it just
attacked my
like
conspiracies.
you just look at the emails like todd@flatearth.com. Yeah.
You're like, wait a second. Flat Earth, they've got their own email line.
Why not? They gotta get their own things. You know, they gotta do their
Flat
thing.
Earthers. Flat Earthers rarely admit to being flat Earthers, but you can tell if they say look into it or look it up or I've heard some things.
Yeah.
I'll be straight up. Yesterday, I saw one of my friends on Facebook. I say friends loosely because I really don't know him all that well.
Very loosely.
He posted that he was a flat earther, and I straight up unfriended him. I was like, I can't take this on my feed right now. And I was like, the mess that's going on, I can't deal with a flat earther right now. So I just deleted him. Might
So
be a
I'm
little
not
harsh.
like I'm definitely, this isn't coming from like a political aspect, but I'm always thinking of, I'm like, what is the quickest way to lose all credibility? You know what I mean? Like I'm talking like what can I do or say or write that will just immediately just ruin any kind of integrity that I had with anybody? And,
I don't.
it
Well,
really
you
is,
could
like, it
now
is-
that he's back. You could ask John Christ about it, but that's a different story.
About being a flat Earther.
No, about how to lose your entire audience due to integrity. Anyway,
It's like,
I hope
if
he's a
you're-
flat earther.
If you're far left, or if you're far right, or if you're like really believe in like it's one of those things, or you just say one thing and then people are immediately like, even now it's like, I mean, I only think sick people should wear a mask. Time, you know what I mean? It's like time. That's it.
Yeah.
Shut up forever. You know what I mean? It's like, how quick can you do it? Because the time between when you had integrity or when you were once a trusted individual and now you're not is so fast.
Right.
It freaking flies by you.
and
When
that's
we
what
see it
this.
happen all the time.
Well, I was going to say this. That's what this episode is we're all going to do our best attempt to lose the entire audience. No.
Oh, buddy.
Here we go.
All right,
go.
3, 2, 1. PD, you're
MAGA,
first. No.
Flat Earth, Black Lives Matter.
I just hang up the call. You're like, we lost
Yeah.
Jonathan.
Hey, that's our group. It's MAGA, Flat Earth, Black Lives Matter, all together.
Free Hong Kong. What is
One
it? What is it?
word.
Pro?
You got to claim that. You got to
Free
claim that
Hong Kong.
website.
Yeah.
We're both pro Hong Kong being their own place and pro China at the
Yeah,
same time.
yeah.
Oh, same time.
Yeah.
Wow, you guys,
Dude,
you
we
are man so deep. I can't believe
Hey,
it.
listeners who are still with us, thanks.
I think there's somebody in Hong Kong who listens.
Oh
so
yeah, dude, we were. There's some type of chart or whatever, and we were at one point a couple weeks ago number 23 in the Christian and religion podcasts in Hong Kong on Apple Podcast.
That's
I remember I
hilarious.
took a screenshot and I sent it to PD, and I'm like, man, people in Hong Kong. There's somebody in Hong Kong right now. Like, man, have you heard of these dudes?
and then we were like
They're
number
such
3 in
deep
Ireland
wells.
at one point.
We're number 3. We were number 3 in Ireland.
We get no respect in the States.
Yeah.
It's like somewhere
for a week. I don't.
somewhere you're ranking higher than John Piper in the podcast, like the Desiring God podcast. They're like, how do we beat church stories in New Zealand?
Yeah.
We can't get past
Yeah.
them.
Take that.
That's I guess. Yeah. It was probably like friggin' Stephen Furtick, Joyce Meyer, all these people who were laying out gospel truth, and we're like, he drew on SlenderMan's crotch.
Yeah.
Number 3 in Ireland.
Take that, loaded
Wow.
diaper piper.
Yeah.
Loaded diaper
Was that
piper.
a Diary of
That's
a
my name for it now.
Wimpy Kid reference?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Now that's gonna top John Piper's podcast.
He's a great dude.
Don't you come after our listens, John Piper.
It's like
Loaded diaper fighter.
it's like PD's dad is like my sworn nemesis for his record on here, and John Piper is y'all's sworn nemesis
He's
for like
like, "Get
topping
outta
the
here."
charts.
Yeah.
Our new
man.
website, Desiring Jesus,
Oh.
is coming out.
Our ministry resource, Desiring Jesus.
Oh man,
We back at it. Oh man.
amazing.
Wait a sec. So you also had another story?
I did have another story, and you know what's funny is both of mine involve fighting. So I will say, now this one was a little different. So at this point, I was again, I think about 20 years old, and so I was a small group leader at my old church for the youth group. So first of all, I'm a high school guy's small group leader, and there's only like really a 2 year difference between me and the oldest guy in that small group. So it's like I don't know how much responsibility I was like really going to take here, but I tried. Well, it ended up that there was always this event that we would go to, and it's up at Liberty University. Don't worry, we're not going to dive into that, but Liberty University, and it was an all-nighter like youth group event where everyone just stayed up, and it basically drove the youth leaders to a point of insanity. And so
Yes.
I was told to like just drive my small group of guys around, because you would go to like an arcade, and then you go to like a laser tag thing. It was just back and forth all over the city of Lynchburg, Virginia. And there was this one point where it's like 2 a.m, and we were on our way to an arcade, and we stop at a Sheetz gas station at 2 a.m, which was mistake number 1, was stopping here at 2 a.m. Mistake 2 was we were all like, hey, let's get out and get food. We're going to go inside while, the gas is pumping. Like, I'll go inside and let's get some food. So that's mistake 2. So
Okay.
ends up we go in, we get food, we're standing in line, and I'm reminding you again that my entire high school guys small group, who is looking to me to be like their spiritual guide in a sense, they're all with me
Protector.
right
Yeah.
now. Like, they're right next to me. So I'm standing in line, and this old man like cuts in line in front of me. Don't worry, I didn't just like fight him right there. he like cuts. He was like, "I've had it." That was
Senior citizen.
He cuts in line in front of me, and my small group, they look at me and they're like, "Hey, what's the deal?" And I'm like, "It's fine, guys. Like, we're not in a rush. Like, everything's cool. He probably just didn't see me," and whatever I tried to tell myself. But ended up that the girl who was working at the cash register, she looks at him, and then she looks at me, and she's like, "Hey, excuse me, sir, you actually cut in front of the gentleman behind you." And
you're like,
and I'm like,
"No,
I'm
no."
fine. I was like, "Hey, I'm fine. It's whatever." Like, and so the guy turns around, and he looks at me, and he's like, "Yeah, that's what I thought." And I was like, Suddenly I feel more upset about this thing that was not a big deal and still probably isn't, but like I felt way more angry. So once again, high school guys are with me right now. So at that point, I'm angry.
Gosh.
It's 2 a.m. and I just like walk up to him and I'm like, "I want you to get behind me in line right now." And he was
That's like the most polite way to be confrontational.
I was just like, this is what I want. I'm telling you to get behind me right now. And so he looks at me, he's like, what did you say? And I said, I want you to pick up your stuff and I want you to get behind me and my guys. And so he ends up looking at me. First of all, he has a cane. So this is not an able-bodied man.
Yeah. Hold on a second. Wait a second. Next time, anytime you tell a story, you've gotta add the bit that he's got the cane before it.
Don't worry.
This is a crippled old man.
Well, he has one leg.
Don't worry, the cane comes back to the story. There's a reason that I mentioned the cane. Don't worry. He ends up that he's like, what did you say to me? And so I told him, I was like, I want you to get your stuff and I want you to get behind me and my guys. So he like walks up to me, and he's definitely shorter than me because I'm about 6'3", and this man is not 6'3". So he ends up kind of walking up to me, and he's like, do you want to take this outside right now?
Huh.
And so I don't know what came over me. I'm not this guy, but I just leaned forward. I got to make sure I get it right because it just came to me then. But I leaned forward and I'm just like, from the looks of things, you already have trouble walking. So I suggest we don't go outside so that you have the ability to walk at all.
Wow.
And
you went from like, sir, I would like to be in front of you to I will end your life.
Wait a second. You went from, hey, that dude just cut in front of you to, no, it's fine. It's completely fine. To, sir, I will cripple you.
I will make
sir,
you unable to walk
from here
so
will
fast.
Be a cemetery because you'll be dead.
Yeah, well, I don't know what happened. So he ends up picking his stuff up, and he gets behind line, like behind me and all of my guys. And I'm just like shaking at this point, and I'm just like, I would like these Doritos, please. And so they like ring up my guys. I get outside, and my guys are just like, that was the most amazing thing we've ever seen. We love it. And I was like, don't be like me. You're not supposed to do that. This was a really bad moment. I never tell the youth pastor at that point. Like, I never told him. They never told him. So now that I am working in youth ministry, I got lunch like probably 2 months ago with my former youth pastor. And I was like, hey, I got to tell you a story. And so I tell him that story, and he's like, you have got to be kidding me right now. You did not do that with those guys. And I was like, I did. I'm so sorry. And he was like, the things that he's like, I don't even want to know half of the other stuff that the volunteers say. He's like, without me after that story. He's like, because you were really tame. And I was like, just not that time. I don't know. So
wait a second.
Yeah.
So you threatened to cripple an old man, and you fought SlenderMan and won. So,
dude, that is
plot twist.
I think you're more of a fighter than you realize, Jonathan. Maybe you should start
say that
training
again in
for
my
the UFC.
face. Yeah. What if I just got super mad about you saying that I'm a fighter? It's like, what'd you say to me?
I like that you. What is it? There's a book called The Hero's Journey. I haven't read it. It's a book on like screenwriting. But
is that the Joseph Campbell?
I think so. But essentially, what they talk about is like, where there's like a coming of age of a character, and like you went through the whole arc in like 3 minutes. The whole from like he cut in front of you, like no, it's fine. No, it's fine. He's elderly. He's fine. To sir, look me dead in the eyes.
I will end you right now. Do you hear me?
Real quick. Whatever arc there was supposed to be turned into a straight line.
It's just a cliff.
No arc. It's just been from zero. Yeah, just to boom. Here
I
we are.
reached terminal velocity like immediately. I jumped off and was like, here we go. I guess this is the one time I'll get angry at a person in public. Now I'm all out. I can't be angry at anybody. Now I can't fight anyone. So yeah.
Hey. I feel like we've learned a lot about old Jonathan today.
I'm like, that was yesterday.
And that's important. Oh man! So we end with church stories.
We end with church stories. Do you have another one?
Oh, I got another one.
This has been the Fight Stories podcast, but we like to end with no. But we end with testimonies. Praise reports. Why did I say testimony?
Did you say testimony? Thing, right? Yeah, I was like, you just say testimony.
My bad.
I was like, well, when I was about 15. No.
You're like, well, in the name of Jesus.
Do some altar call music.
What you got, PD? You got a praise report?
Yeah, my praise report is that we have 6 hours of recorded conversations with Jonathan.
Yeah. Oh my God. 6 hours plus. This has been good. Can't get more.
Yeah.
Jonathan, we are gonna have you. We are gonna have you down here in Greenville, though. We got to bring you and your wife down here for a weekend, man. That'd be a ton of fun. Or Thursday through Saturday or something.
Yeah, I was talking with her about that yesterday, and she was like, "All right, let's do it. That sounds fun." I was like, "All right, cool." I was like, "Can we please do this?"
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Don't get mad at me, but I just really want to go to Greenville.
A ton of fun, man. What was my praise report? My praise report is Studios got AC, and we've been working on shooting a bunch of sketches. So it's been good.
Very
I'm
nice.
excited about that, and we want to get Jonathan in one. So we gotta get you over here.
You got to get me down there. I expect first class flying all the way.
Maybe you could be disrespected by a puppet.
Ooh, oh, that sounds amazing. I would love it. I will get in a fight with him. I will warn you.
Yeah. He's not scared. He'd be like, "Let's take this outside, stuffed puppet."
I don't fight anybody who doesn't have a cane. Only the people with canes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
SlenderMan
A
had
cane, or if they're a really tall, white, and a person in a suit.
Right.
Yeah.
I look for an advantage and I
slender.
take it. I was like, this guy doesn't seem very strong. I'll take him. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, really tall white person in a suit. So that could be like
It's like an
Phil
attorney.
Jackson, Lakers
Ooh,
coach.
yeah. Take Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson in his prime.
Yeah.
What's your praise report, Jonathan?
Oh man, my praise report. I had tacos this morning. That's a praise.
Taco Boy had tacos? No way.
Wait,
Well,
tacos for breakfast?
Yeah. So, well, actually, I'm making a video about this. I've got a video that I filmed this morning with some friends. There's a taco truck that's not a truck anymore. They took the wheels off of it, and it's in the middle of a flea market that's actually more like a yard sale. And it's just crazy. So, but they have amazing tacos, and so I got those today. They were great. It was a good breakfast, and yeah, that's my praise report, is that I got those, and that I'm still the reigning champion over PD's dad in Church Stories.
Yeah, Church Stories champion. We
that,
should
Mr.
mail you a
Buck.
and
belt.
that's what did you say?
So we should mail him a belt.
Or I was gonna say a plaque, but a belt sounds a whole lot cooler.
Championship belt.
Like, let me tell you
And
something,
then if somebody
Bachman.
else wins, we get you to mail the belt back to somebody else. But hey, this has been a ton of fun, Jonathan.
Yeah, I've had a
Always
good
pleasure.
time. Thank you guys for having me once again. I'm glad you're not tired
sure.
of me yet.
No, not now, not ever.
Aw.
Just don't fight old people in sheets,
Yeah.
gas stations.
Or,
I'll do my best.
you know, creatures or whatever.
or
Is
hallucina-
that what does
someone else's-
SlenderMan fall under?
someone else's hallucinations either.
Yeah, well, I can give you a strong maybe on both of those things. My track record isn't amazing.
Update us.
Or what
Just
if he hallucinated an old man? Then you'd be in
Ooh,
heaven, right?
yeah,
You'd be
there you
like, my favorite things to fight in one.
Oh, amazing.
This is the final boss. It's Jonathan's final boss.
Amazing.
All right, Jonathan. This has been a ton of fun, man. We'll talk to you.
All right.